You're right, everyone, Dan Central here, and welcome to a tag response video. Now, this is the kind of video that I didn't think I'd be doing again. It's one of those kind of videos that I was doing a lot of when I was on YouTube the first time, and then some of you may remember I had a long hiatus off of YouTube. Wasn't too sure if I was going to come back, then made the decision to luckily come back a second time round. And when I came back, I realised that they weren't really around anymore. And then suddenly they seem to be making a mini comeback. So that's really, really good because it's a bit nostalgic for me because I used to do them very, very often. Then they just suddenly stopped. So to do one again is great. And I think it's really good to revive old things as well because they do work. I mean, people put in the effort and, you know, they really do. It really does work out and they do sort of start to resurface again. I think that's a really, really awesome thing. So it feels surreal, but really good as well to be doing a tag response video after all this time. So I've been tagged by my brother from another mother, Shockz16, and he got tagged by a really cool dude called ProBMan5. I've just subscribed to him. I've just checked out his original video where he tagged Shockz, and he's also tagged Lawn Boys Post the 1975, and I believe Shen Muso and some other guys as well. He's a great guy. He's got a great presence on camera, comes across really well, he's really funny, yeah, I really enjoyed the video, so I'll be checking out a few more of his videos as time goes on, for definite. Yeah, he tagged Shockz16, and then Shockz16 has then gone and tagged myself, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this because I've not done a tag response in ages, and I do enjoy doing videos. Again, sorry I've not had pieces to camera up in a little while ago. You know, again, just been really busy and stuff like that. I've put a few recent music videos up, which I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's posted a comment on that. It really meant a lot. People have been really nice about them, so that was great. So thank you very much. So let's get on with it then. The tag response is basically 5 questions, and I'm looking down in case you're wondering because my laptop's on the floor. I just brought up the questions on the screen just so I didn't have to write them all down because I do write them down quite a bit, and it just gets annoying when I can just bring them up on the screen. It saves me having to write stuff down and waste time and stuff. So the questions are, question 1, what state do you live in? Well, again, like Shockz16, I don't live in America, so we don't have states in the UK because I'm in the UK. We have counties, so I actually live in Bedfordshire. I actually grew up in Hertfordshire and then moved over to Bedfordshire a bit later on in life. They're pretty close together anyway. And it's basically it's basically in the countryside. So I live in a sort of a small village, so not really much goes on, to be honest. It's pretty dead. Everyone sort of keeps themselves to themselves. I do have quite a few pubs around though, so that's always a good thing. Yeah, people tend to keep themselves to themselves, so I don't tend to. Yeah, I mean, unless I'm at home, I don't tend to stay in the area too often. I'd like to venture out to bigger towns where a lot of my mates are, and a lot more's going on, kind of thing. But if you want to get away from like the stress of daily life and you know, crowds of people all over the shop, it's just a nice kind of come down to kind of relax in an area that's really quiet and pretty dead. So yeah, in terms of stress relieving, it's really good. But when I do want to go and do something, I tend to venture out of the area quite often. But yeah, I'm in Bedfordshire. It's basically in the southeast of England. So yeah, it's not really that far from Shockz16, to be fair, so that's always a plus as well. But yeah, I don't live in a state because I'm not in the US, yeah, I live in the UK. So that's that one. Question 2, how did you get into collecting? Okay, so basically my uncle had a massive impact on my whole gaming history and stuff like that. In fact, a long time ago, a legend YouTuber who's not unfortunately on YouTube anymore, Xfile2708, he did a kind of like a tag video on like what's your gaming history, and I spoke a lot about this in that as well because I went through absolutely everything from when I was a kid to right up to present day. And basically, my uncle used to buy the latest consoles as I was growing up. He'd play them for a while, get bored of them, and then he would give them to me for free. So rather than chuck them away, he'd say like, Dan, do you want this? And I'd be like, yeah. and then I'd play it and stuff. But whereas he'd pass them down, I would just keep hold of them. So when I was a kid, basically my parents bought a Philips CDI. Now some of you know this already, and some of you actually said what a really crap system to start off on. But do you know what? It's nostalgic for me. You know, I've got a lot of games for the system, and it holds a place, you know, dear to me. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I basically started off on the Philips CDI and the Sega Master System, and absolutely loved both systems. I know the Philips CDI is pretty dire in a lot of respects, but on the flip side, there are actually a few games on there that are absolutely fantastic, like Burn Cycle, Escape from Cyber City, Little Devil, to name a few. So started off on those, and then like I said, as time went on, and as you know, games companies started to bring out newer consoles and stuff like that, as time was moving on and technology was improving, my uncle would buy the latest system, and then like I said, he would play it for a bit, and then he would get bored of it, and then he would give it to me. He would just be like, "Do you want it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And because I never got rid of them, I just kept them and ended up starting a collection pretty much there and then. So yeah, I mean, he gave me my Super Nintendo. He gave me my N64. I remember the first time I ever saw a Dreamcast being played up front and personal, and it was when I went round my nan's one day, and he was there playing it. And I was really young, and he called me upstairs and was like, "Dan, I've got something to show you." And I was like running up the stairs, like all intrigued. And as I walked in through the door, there was just a massive TV there with Sonic Adventure playing on it. And he was just literally, I think he was in the middle of Emerald Coast, the first level of the game. And I just went in there and just stood behind him and just watched, and my mouth just fell open. And because it was the first time I'd seen an actual proper 3D Sonic game as well, because I sort of bypassed Sonic 3D Blast for whatever reason. So I went straight from the Mega Drive Sonics to the first 3D one I saw was Sonic Adventure. So that was just a huge epic moment for me. Yeah, as soon as he finished the level, I was just like, gimme, wanted to go straight away. And then he kept the Dreamcast for a while, and I used to go around his and play House of the Dead, because he used to have the Dreamcast gun, so I used to play House of the Dead with a gun, and that was just an awesome experience. And then he, after a while, said, "You know, I don't really want to play this anymore, do you want it?" And I just kind of, he didn't have to ask me twice, I just kind of grabbed it off him. So he gave me the Dreamcast as well. In fact, he gave me most of the consoles that I own now. There's only a couple that I bought myself that were quite cheap, so that I bought the NES myself. The Sega Saturn I got off one of my good friends. Martin gave me a Sega Saturn at a really good price, and we used to own a shop in Spalding called Game Link, which unfortunately, sad times, now no longer exists. And a few others as well that I got myself as well. But my uncle gave me a majority of the systems that I had, and I just never got bored of them. Whereas he did, I didn't. So that was a collection in itself, because I just wasn't getting rid of the systems. And then because I enjoyed them so much, I never got bored of them. I think that's just what really did it for me, and what sparked the passion in the first place for me to, want to, be so interested in retro gaming, that I just never got bored of it. And just because a lot of the games had so much replay value, I was just going back to them time and time again. So there was that, and then obviously I started buying more games for the systems as well, because I wanted to see what newer games were like, or maybe not newer games because they're sort of retro systems, but for me they were, because I'd not sort of played them before. And I just saw how much was out there that I could get hold of, and I just wanted to get hold of a lot of it. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably say, an answer to the question specifically, my uncle is what got me into retro gaming. Even though he's not a retro game collector himself, in a roundabout way, he sparked that interest in me to then want to go off and do that personally. So yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful to him. All the consoles that I've got now, I've got so many, and a lot of them are down to him. He does come down every now and again and sort of go upstairs and look at them all and sort of say, I'm really, because he's really pleased that I've kept hold of them as well, because they will be worth, hopefully a lot of money one day. And the fact that, I haven't just thrown them away or just gotten rid of them, I think he likes the fact that, I've kept hold of them and really looked after them and stuff. So he knows it was worthwhile him giving them to me, because he knew I was going to look after them. So yeah, it's my uncle. Sorry, my laptop's decided to now go off. Great. So yeah, sorry I took a bit too long on those questions, but anyway, question 3: what does your significant other think of your gaming hobby? Well, up until a few months ago, she actually really liked it, but I say that because we're no longer together. Long story short, without bringing anything too personal onto YouTube, because it does go quite public, I was with my girlfriend for a good number of months. It was about 6 months, because she used to live right near where I do, and we started going out and stuff, and it was going really well. And she found out about my gaming hobby and my collecting. She really liked it because she was a fan of like things like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that. And she found a few of my videos on YouTube, and she actually really liked them. I was the one that was quite embarrassed, thinking she's going to think it's really sad. But actually, she really liked it, and she was really interested in it. But then she was on a placement for a year. So when the placement ended, she had to go back to where she was studying to finish off her course, which was actually right up north in somewhere called York, which is a good few hours from where I live. And it was just one of those things where I wasn't earning a lot of money at the time. So it was difficult for me to go up there on a regular basis. She would get frustrated because she wasn't seeing me, and vice versa. And inevitably, as much as we tried so hard to stop it from happening, it inevitably failed, and we agreed to just well, we did initially agree to remain friends, but we actually haven't spoken really at all since. I think the distance playing a big part in that, and you know, long distance relationships, they are huge. They're either make or break, basically. You either really, really want to make a go of it, or you just realise that it's never going to work, and you know, you should just leave it as it is. And it wasn't that we didn't try, but because it was such a way away from where I live, it was difficult. And money, it all comes down to money at the end of the day. That was the biggest thing, and it stopped me going to see her a lot because it cost so much in fuel. So it was really, it wasn't even necessarily a personal decision, it was just things like money and distance that just inevitably ruined it. And it sucked, and it was really, really crap, to be honest. So therefore, I'm currently single, and who knows really. But yeah, I mean, she really liked it, which was just a bonus for me. And hopefully, if I meet someone in the future, then it'll be a similar thing. But yeah, she liked it. But at the moment, I've not really got to impress anyone because you know, I'm currently single. But who knows? Who knows? So cool. Apparently I heard that if you are single, you can say family instead as well. So just quickly, my family don't mind it at all. However, they know how much stuff I do have, so they don't really particularly get overjoyed when I buy a new system or a new set of games, because their biggest thing is always where you're going to put it. Yeah, they really like. They've got nothing against me doing it and stuff. I mean, my parents paid half towards my Xbox One with me, so they really like the gaming side, and they like Connect and stuff like that. So they've got no problem with it. I think it's really good. So yeah, so they don't mind it. They don't mind it. But yeah, I don't think they potentially understand. Do you know? I don't think anyone that doesn't do YouTube videos really understands why people that do them. Until they speak to you and you tell them why you do it and why you enjoy it so much and how you can get yourself out there to a bigger audience. I don't think they really quite understand, but you know, it's just one of those things. You know, when someone's doing something that you don't quite understand or you don't do yourself, you're always going to wonder, you know, what's it all about. So yeah, there we are really. So that's that. Question 4. What's your? Do you know? I agree with Shockz on this one, and I agree with Shemuzo. Right? What a question! Oh my days, what a question. Favourite game of all time? How can you answer that? I mean, at a push I can answer it, and most people probably know what I'm going to say. And obviously that's Sonic. But that's a mental question. That really is. You've got, like Shockz was saying, you've got so many systems that are out there that have been released and that have got absolutely incredible games on. And it's like, how can you specify that to just one? I mean, if I had to say one as a push, it'd be any Sonic game. Well, that's not true. Not any Sonic game, because there are some fairly dire ones out there. But yeah, I'd probably say I'd probably say Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, because it's one of the longer Sonic games. It's got so many levels on that game, it's just unreal. A lot more than Sonic 1 and Sonic 3. It just goes on and on and on. And if you've played Sonic 2 Beta on an emulator, you'll see that there's also Wood Zone and this Hidden Palace Zone as well, which is sort of some secret levels that were initially going to be put into the final version but left out in the end. They didn't actually make the final cut. There's also another one as well, Genocide. Is it City Genocide Zone, where you're like in a city? what's it called? It's called something Genocide Zone, I think it is. Anyway, there's that as well, and that just makes it even longer. So I'll probably say a push Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, but I can't really specify it really. It's too difficult. I love the Super Mario games, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Crash Bandicoot, all the proper legendary characters that are out there. You know, I can't choose really. But as an answer, I'll say Sonic 2. But you know, that's an absolute push really. So yeah, too broad a question, but you know, there's an answer for you. And finally, who's the first person you ever subscribed to? Now, this is a really difficult one for me because some of you may know, some of you may not if you're newly subscribed to me or if you've not been following my channel for too long. My channel initially started off as a piano channel solely. It didn't even touch gaming at all. I started my channel in about 2006. I didn't touch gaming until about 2009, something like that. So there was a good few years where I just had it as piano only. I mean, if you do have time and you do want to have a look back at my really sort of early videos back in sort of that sort of 2006-07 era, you'll see that they're all just piano, and they also want a really crap piano that I used to have, which luckily I don't have anymore. It was awful. But you know, when you're first starting out, you know, back then I'm thinking, oh, this is absolutely wicked. But when I look back now, it just had an awful sound. It was just a honky tonk, plinky plonky thing, and oh, it was just dire. But yeah, but basically you'll see that all the videos are piano. And so obviously one of my first people that I would have subscribed to would have been someone that I would imagine also played piano. But because that was so long ago, I wouldn't even be able to remember. Because, you know, I've moved on to gaming since, and probably some of my piano people have probably moved on because they see that I've done a lot of gaming stuff now and they're probably not into that. I still do piano stuff as well, but maybe they preferred it when I was just doing piano stuff. But, you know, I like to be versatile, and that's it really. You either kind of like it, I guess, or you don't. But yeah, I'm guessing therefore that that would be someone that was playing piano at the time that I am subscribed to. There are a few guys that play piano that I'm still subscribed to that are really sort of up there as like sort of quite well-known people on YouTube. But they would have been the first people that I have subscribed to, so I can't really remember. However, if you're talking about the gaming side of things, without looking at piano solely, I'd probably say it'd probably be someone like Xfile2708 when he was on YouTube, because he was obviously one of the bigger channels that are out there, and I obviously aspired to that. And that was, I think he was one of the guys that just sort of made me sit there and think, do you know what? I love gaming as well. If people like Xfile can do it, then I'm sure I can as well. And it just kind of gave me the kick, I suppose, to go and do it myself. And that's when I also found other people like SNEStastic and you know, people like Ty's Wayne, who's unfortunately not on the on YouTube anymore. And even people like the Gebs24 Gemma, when she was around the first time. I think we're quite similar, me and Gemma, in terms of we both started off at a certain point, then we went away for quite a bit and we sort of disappeared off YouTube entirely, and then we've suddenly come back sort of as a comeback, if you like. So I can relate to her in terms of that as well. But yeah, I mean, I was finding all sorts of people like that. Airrunner85, Aaron was another guy that I found. And obviously Shockz16 I found later on as well, Interghost as well, obviously Gashead Steve a lot more recently, and even other people that were just out there, Lefarius, and Half Blind Gamer, Cessna Race, Mark Vigier, who's now known as, I can't pronounce it, I'm so awful, sorry man, Lactabilius Prime, yeah, I'm awful. Sorry. But yeah, and obviously others as well that are around. There was a guy called Atsuma Karin who I became good friends with, and he was always posting on my channel, on my videos and channel and stuff like that. And obviously Wendy, who used to be Pop Tart Love 2010, but has now changed their channel to Time to Chill 73. Just unfortunately has no videos on her channel, which sucks because they're absolutely awesome and they used to be so good, but unfortunately she's not doing them anymore. So just people like that, and obviously there's loads of others, you know, you're all included basically, but it's just so difficult to think of everybody at the top of your head. But yeah, and I'm very privileged to have found such great guys behind those channels as well, and you know, some that I can even call best friends as well, even like my fellow Sunday strollers, you know, I see them as best friends now. So it's wicked. But I'd probably say X-Files probably one of the main ones that I probably subscribe to first if you're talking about gaming. I could mention some piano guys, but again, they're not probably the first people that I subscribe to in terms of the piano side. But there is like Juggernaut1, who does some awesome film music stuff on the piano. He's absolutely wicked. And there are a few others, but again, it's so hard to think. But yeah, probably say X-File in terms of the gaming side, was the guy that I probably first subscribed to, I would say, and it spurred me on to do the videos that I sort of do nowadays. So there we go. I do apologise that this has gone over for quite a bit. A lot of you know by now that I do like to ramble, because I do like doing videos so much. I just get carried away, which is a good thing, I guess, because it means I'm really interested in doing it, but also maybe it's seen as a little bit too long, but apologies. But anyway, let's wrap that up then, and I'm going to obviously tag 3 people to hopefully pass this on to. If you don't want to do it, guys, again, like Shockz has said to me, there's no pressure. You don't have to do it. I've only done it because I thought it'd be good to get back into tag videos, because I used to really enjoy them, and I'm starting to find my love for them again, which is cool. And if they do sort of come back fully and they do start to circulate again, I think that would be absolutely awesome, and I will, you know, definitely get involved in more in the future if they do come back properly. So I'm going to tag there for Gebs24, aka Gemma, because she's an absolutely awesome girl. Her videos are absolutely wicked. I do desperately need to catch up on a few more of her videos, because I have been so busy. So that's one of my priorities on my list at the minute, to go back and catch up on the ones I haven't seen yet. But she's absolutely wicked. She's so cool. She's so down to earth. I've met her in person, which I feel very privileged to have done. Had some photos taken with her as well at an event. And she was so funny, and she was so great to be around, and just, yeah, feel really privileged to know her and have met her in person as well. I'm also going to tag Novabug, Chris, who again is just such a great guy. He's just recently had his anniversary 1 year on YouTube, so congratulations, mate. And he did a whole kind of special where he was putting together clips of people's channels to promote them, which was very much appreciated, and he obviously included mine in there as well and stuff, and it was wicked. So you're obviously tagged as well, mate, but again, no pressure if you don't want to do it, but if you do, would be absolutely wicked to see your response. And do you know what? This is what you get for not writing the channels down that you're going to tag. Yeah, got it. JustJamez. I want to tag James as well, because he's a cool little dude. And he's just recently come back on YouTube again from having a mini hiatus. I think everyone at some stage in their life has had a mini hiatus, because things happen, don't they? You know, outside commitments take over, and YouTube's not necessarily, or if it is, it shouldn't be at the top of your list in terms of priorities. You know, there's a lot of other things outside that are more important, like family, like work, etc, etc. So I think everyone has a sort of mini break every now and again. So he's just come back doing some more videos. Great guy, has some really cool videos out there. He does, as well as gaming stuff, he also does really quite funny topic videos as well. Like he did one about owning a pet monkey. Would you ever own a pet monkey? And it's like, what? You sort of think, okay, and then you watch it and then you understand what it's about, and it just makes you laugh, and it's cool because it makes him different as well and unique. And I think everyone wants to be unique in their own way, which is cool. So yeah, James, you are tagged as well, mate. Again, no pressure if you don't want to, but if you do, again, like I say, it'd be awesome to hear your thoughts. So yeah, that's my answers. Thank you again to Shockz16 for tagging me, and obviously ProBMan5 for tagging him as well to pass it on. And other than that, I will see you guys very soon for another video. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah,